Okay, let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? Game night's finally here. You've got the snacks sorted, everyone's arrived, and then nump.
Oh, yeah. The rule book.
Exactly. That, 40-page monster hits the table, and suddenly it feels like homework you didn't sign up for.
Mm-hmm. And 20 minutes later, you're still arguing about what adjacent really means.
It's such a common thing with board games, isn't it? The rules themselves can sometimes just, drain the fun right out before you even start.
Totally. It's that initial hurdle, definitely. But also, those mid-game debates that can pop up. It's friction, really, for everyone involved.
Well, our source material today looks at a really interesting potential solution. It's called BoardBrain.
BoardBrain, okay.
Yeah, imagine having a rules expert on call instantly. It's basically a Gen AI assistant. And get this, it's designed specifically to read and actually understand those dense board game rulebook PDFs.
Right. And the goal, as the source lays out, is pretty neat. It's there to answer your questions about the rules, but in just plain, simple English.
Forget trying to decode page 17, section B, subsection 4.
Exactly. You just ask, can I do this?
Yeah.
And it gives you a clear answer, pulled straight from the rules.
And the tech behind it, it's pretty cutting-edge stuff. We're talking Gemini 1.5 Pro, that's Google's big new AI model,
Mm-hmm.
plus some things called vector search and retrieval augmented generation, RAG for short.
Right, RAG. It's all part of that generative AI landscape we keep hearing about.
Think about when you learn a new game. What's the biggest headache? Is it that first read-through?
Or maybe it's later, when some weird edge case comes up and everyone's got a theory.
Yeah. BoardBrain seems like it could tackle both.
So our kind of mission for this deep dive is, well, let's give you a quick rundown of what BoardBrain is, what it does, and how it might genuinely streamline getting games to the table.
Less pre-game cramming, more playing.
So how does it actually work? The source breaks it down quite nicely. First step, obviously, you give it the rulebook, usually a PDF. BoardBrain then takes that PDF and intelligently chops it up into smaller, sort of meaningful chunks of text.
So it's like the AI is pre-digesting the rules for you, highlighting the key bits, almost.
Yeah, something like that, but way more sophisticated. Then each of these text chunks gets turned into what's called a vector embedding using Gemini.
Vector embedding. Sounds technical.
It is a bit, but think of it like this. Each rule chunk gets a unique digital fingerprint, right? And this fingerprint represents its meaning, not just the words.
Ah, okay. So similar meanings have similar fingerprints.
Exactly. It's about understanding the concepts. Then once you have all these fingerprints, the system uses something called FAISS. I think of it as a super fast search engine, but for these meaning fingerprints.
Right. So when I ask a question.
It finds the rule chunks whose fingerprints, whose meanings are closest to your question. That's the retrieval bit in RAG. It fetches the relevant stuff first.
Gotcha. Retrieval, then generation.
Precisely. Then comes the clever part with Gemini 1.5 Pro. It takes your question and those relevant rule chunks it just found.
Okay.
And because Gemini 1.5 Pro is really good at understanding long contexts, lots of text, it reads it all, and then generates a clear, human-like answer based only on those retrieved rules.
That makes sense. So it's grounded in the actual rulebook text.
Absolutely. The source gives a great example using Catan. Say you ask, can I trade wood for brick?
Classic Catan question.
Right. And BoardBrain apparently shoots back something like, yes, players can trade wood for brick with other players on their turn. You can also trade with the bank, usually 4.1, unless you have a port.
Wow. Instant answer. No page flipping, no arguments.
That's the idea. Think about how helpful that is. For new players, it makes a complex game way less scary.
Definitely lowers the barrier to entry.
And for the person hosting game night, it's like having an impartial referee to quickly settle those rule disputes, keep the game moving.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Or even for teachers or librarians running game sessions, instant clarification.
So the practical outcome is just less time fighting the rules, more time actually playing the game.
Which is the whole point, right?
Of course, it's not perfect yet. The source does mention limitations.
Like what?
Well, if the PDF is just a scan of a page, or if it's formatted really badly, the AI might struggle to pull the text out correctly.
Okay, that makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out, kind of.
Sort of. And right now, it's all about the text. It doesn't look at diagrams, pictures, or, the layout of the game board itself.
Ah, right. A lot of rulebooks rely on visuals.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really have memory between questions or track rules that might change during a game session. It treats each question fresh.
But the potential future stuff sounds really cool.
Yeah, they mentioned things like voice interaction. Imagine just asking the rules out loud.
Hey, BoardBrain, what happens now? That'd be amazing.
And maybe persistent memory, so it learns the rules for your whole game collection.
Ooh, I like that.
And maybe even understanding those images and diagrams, eventually multimodal reasoning, they call it.
And maybe multiple people asking questions at once.
Yeah, collaborative querying for the whole table could really change the dynamic.
It's pretty fascinating, especially seeing this come out of, what, a GenAI intensive course. It just shows how AI can take something static, like a rule book.
And turn it into something dynamic and interactive. A conversation, almost.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, if AI can do this for board game rules.
What other kinds of dense static information out there, like technical manuals, legal documents, maybe even complex policy papers, could be transformed in a similar way, made more accessible?
Yeah, something to think about. Turning static text into active knowledge. Pretty powerful idea.